When we first helped the first group of people do the first study on the Genomera platform, we thought the traditional scientific world would think we were a little bit nuts. And when the journalist from Nature Medicine contacted us about doing this story, we tried to talk him out of it. Because, one of these internet upstarts upending what we thought they cared about. We thought they would feel threatened by what we're doing and by how we're democratizing science, all these lofty things, that filled our heads. And it turns out most of the professional scientists we talked to, instead of wanting to bomb us, kind of wanted to hug us. Most scientists got into that field to make a difference in people's lives. And they're as frustrated as our consumers are that we're not making progress more quickly. What drives people to Genomera is, in this age of digital health, we ought to be able to fill in the meaning gap, the interpretation gap in health science much, much more quickly than the traditional bottlenecks allow. We see some people express reluctance to put on the mantle of scientist. And we're working hard at helping people overcome some of that reluctance because we think it's artificial. But this one's very, very important to us because for the Genomera movement to really work, we need people to self-identify as ones who are engaging in incredible science together. There is real science going on here, but part of the innovation our community has arrived at is doing this in a relational way because that's necessary to get many more people involved. And we think at the core of that actually is trust and relationship. And we're seeing that when you use flowery language and the scientific passive voice and an anonymity, and you don't let any element of your personality come through in the writing you're doing, people tend to wait longer before they're going to get involved. When we encourage organizers and participants to be themselves rather than acting as an image of what they think someone in that role is supposed to act like, we think we see a material difference in the engagement from the rest of the community in a given study. And we think that's linked to trust. There's subtlety in these new technological infrastructure that are quickly becoming woven into the fabric of social interaction that I think it's not an overstatement to say it gives us another quantum change in how we can help people work together. I think it would be easy to underestimate the influence that Facebook is having on everything else that's happening in the world. Even on people who don't yet know what Facebook is, its effect on the world is affecting those people as well. So I don't think Facebook is the end-all and all kind of collaboration things, but I think we have to thank them for that contribution, for training a whole group of people on how to do things together online and what's possible. And now we can take that and apply that to many different platforms, many different causes. So I think that's huge. I think in terms of technology, the other big thing in technology is the mobile revolution. Everyone thought it started, back in the 90s, and then it started again a little bit later in the 90s, and kind of sputtered through most of the decade of 2000, and then suddenly it just happened. And so now the medium for interaction for many of these communities is more often the thing you're carrying in your pocket than the thing you're carrying in your briefcase. The ability to reach out and touch someone at the right moment for some of these smartphone platforms that are becoming so pervasive now is absolutely explosive in terms of collaboration and movement of people in collective action. When we're dealing with things in health, there's people's lives on the line, and so it's not the same thing as just a new way to send digital photos on our phones that you can just experiment with anything you want, and it's not really going to affect anyone's physical life. So that pushes us towards being a little bit conservative. But we have this growing throng of people who are embracing this new future, and maybe it's time to let them run with it.